It's time to get your checking account to zero with free checking from PenFed. That's zero ATM fees, zero balance requirements, and zero time spent waiting for your paycheck to direct deposit because you can receive it up to 2 days early. Open your account with just $25 and see how big zero can be. Apply online today at PenFed.org/free checking. Early direct deposit eligibility may vary between pay periods and timing of payers' funding. To receive any advertised product, you must become a member of PenFed, insured by NCUA.
PenFed's got great rates for everyone.
What is up, everyone? I'm Jeff Lund. This is the Mediocre Alaskan Podcast. It's early Wednesday morning. Doing the podcast here to get one out there, trying to get content, because it's all about content. It's kind of funny that I hate that word, but it's kind of the best word for it. It just became cliche. It was like the thing, and then now it's like the thing and the word, and now I make content. I write content. I podcast, and that's what you're doing. But I don't know. It just seems like a word that has been taken over and overused and becomes trite and cliche. And, well, is it good content or is it just content? Is it just words or are they the right words? I've been talking with Jaden, the Wyoming correspondent, about making better podcasts and what makes a good podcast. And we throw a lot of ideas off each other, kind of listen to each other's podcast and decide things. We talk. It's easier for me because I don't have many people on my podcast that I don't know. The likelihood of him talking to someone that he doesn't really know very well is much higher because he has a much bigger audience. So I've talked to mostly people that I know. But listening to other podcasts, telling a story is so weird. Oh, my coffee's ready. Coffee ready. That was the beep there. Telling stories is so weird. If you're writing a story, you look at the whole thing and then you try to pick out your audience and purpose, and then you deliver a story that's going to resonate somehow. There's going to be some sort of takeaway. If you write a story for a newspaper or magazine or an online something that doesn't have any sort of point or any sort of takeaway, it was just you. If I wasn't there, it's hard for me to understand or really care about it. It ends up just being about you, the hunter, and telling about how great of a hunter you are, how great of an experience it was for you, but it doesn't really resonate, so it doesn't really connect. And they can be fun to read, but if you're trying to hype it up and trying to make yourself sound like some badass, but it wasn't really that much of a hunt, it's just a very difficult thing to do. So I think some of the best writing that I've ever read about the outdoors, they don't try to describe things like the screaming reel, when the fish tail walked. Like, you just kind of assume if you're a fisherman and you're writing about that sort of stuff is going to happen. So if you can connect the reader to their own memories of that, I think it's going to be better than you trying to describe something that's been described thousands and thousands of times and none of it ever does justice. Like, there's no way that you can properly really describe what it's like when that steelhead takes the line. If you've done it, you've done it. And so when I write about it, I'm going to talk about that a little bit, but then move on from that moment because you can't describe it. So I'm not going to try to put new words to that moment. I'm just going to connect you to that moment so you can fill in the gap there and trust that the reader's going to do that. Podcasts are like that too, because you could have people just start talking and talking and talking. And it ends up being this like really long, dry story that just hammers home that you weren't there. And you try to hype stuff up because you're excited, and that's great. And those are sometimes really fun to listen to because it's the excitement of the hunter that's telling you how it went down. But sometimes hunts just kind of go as planned, and try to overhype something that isn't really hype worthy. It ends up not really working. But if you think about the best stories tellers that they're the ones that embellish a little bit, right? It's not about 100% accuracy. The best storytellers are the most engaging storytellers, are the guys who are or gals who are talking about something and you're laughing or you're interacting with it, and it's impossible that that's 100% true. But there's the inflection, there's hyperbole, and that's what makes it fun. So a good storyteller, I wonder how much, or if you were to break it down as far as percentage, what percentage accuracy is there? Because even if you try to tell the story 100% objective, you're going to remember certain things differently because your memory is, not very trustworthy. So if you try to be 100% objective and it's not going to be 100% true, you might as well add in some fun and some hyperbole, right? Because those good stories, like the old guy down at the dock who has those crazy old stories about the time that he had 2 fish on 2 hooks. And you're like, I'm not sure that happened, but that was an awesome story. And if it were to happen, it would happen to a guy like you. Because if that's the purpose of storytelling, then that's fine. So maybe it's 75% true. Maybe it could have happened, but we're not trying to report here objective news so that people get a real idea of some really important political issue or some sort of scientific whatever. We're telling hunting stories. And I think the audience has got to know that there's going to be some element of embellishment. Like, I was unbelievably blind with excitement. So can you really trust me when I'm telling the recap? Probably not, but that's part of the point. So I think storytelling, getting excited, I think, is the number one thing. And I like listening to podcasts in which people are excited.
After years of fine print contracts and getting ripped off by big wireless providers, if we've learned anything, it's that there's always a catch. So when I first heard that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month, I thought, what's the catch? But after talking to them and using their service, it all made sense. There isn't one. Mint Mobile's secret sauce is that they're the first company to sell wireless service online only. They cut out the cost of retail stores and pass those sweet savings directly to you. For anyone who hates their phone bill, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. I was hesitant about having to get a new phone and a new phone number, but with Mint, you can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone and your same phone number along with all of your existing contacts. Mint Mobile gives you the best rate whether you're buying for one or for a family, and at Mint, families start at 2 lines. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and to get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/waypoint. That is mintmobile.com/waypoint. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/waypoint.
I like watching films about people when they're excited and it's legitimate. And I cannot stand it when you have, like, in the moment, like you're still fighting the fish or the person's still fighting the fish. And while they're fighting the fish, they're talking to the camera, like turning their head to talk to the camera to give some advertisement about, some fly or some fly line or something. Like, gosh, this is just a production. Man, at least respect the fish enough to take care of that first before you do your sales pitch. And you don't have to have like that effervescent, jovial demeanor. I think the authenticity of someone who you could be kind of a quiet, calm person and you can convey just as much excitement. I think people who try to sound excited end up, it just sounds kind of fake. And this is so important. Like, this is a reflective thing. Like, I'm thinking about things not to judge other people and say this is a stupid podcast or this is a stupid video or this is stupid content. It's to reflect in the type of stuff that I'm putting out there. What does my podcast sound like? What am I communicating? What's the point? Why might someone listen to this? Chances are no one was there. So how do I convey that in a way that's going to be connected? And Jaden says that I undersell my stories a little bit. He was talking about the proposal hunt when I proposed to Abby. It was supposed to be a mountain goat hunt, and we were heading up this mountain, and it was unbelievably brushy. And that's just kind of how it is up here. And we were going about 0.7 miles an hour, which if you can make it up in about an hour, 1,000 feet of elevation, then you're doing pretty good. If you're going about a mile an hour, then that's moving pretty nice when you're heading up a mountain. So we're going about 0.7 because it was so brushy. And you're not even trying to hunt at that point. So you're not trying to be quiet. You're just busting through to try to get up there. And this was after we took my boat out and docked it. And this is after we rode bikes for 6 miles to get up to the spot. So Jaden thought I undersold that a little bit, but And I guess I probably maybe did, because not all ends or not all hunts end in a proposal, and it was sweet. It was awesome. Totally memorable for Abby and I. Um, but that's just kind of the way up here. Like if you live in Southeast Alaska, it's just a given that you're going to be up some gnarly hike. So it's almost like you don't even really talk about it, because if you try to one up someone else, because that's another thing I don't like, when someone tries to one up everybody else and they say, "Oh, well, I have the best story," or the good, and they're just waiting for their turn to tell you how much better their hunt was or how much gnarlier their hunt was, and just just be happy for me, like, and I'll be happy for you. I just want to listen to it. I've been in brush before, man. I know it sucks. You don't have to describe. Give me a sentence or two to describe it, and then move on. Right? Tell me some of the main parts about it. Tell me about the shot, the stock, things like that. That how you messed up or how you almost messed up, or tell me those sort of things. So Jaden thinks that I undersold that a little bit, and I guess, like I said, I probably did a little bit. But that is just the way up here. That's just kind of what the hunts are. It requires, if you want to get away from the roads and the people, then it requires taking a boat somewhere, and it will require a four-wheeler, or it will require a bike or a long hike or something to get to that, and that's part of the experience. That's just kind of what it is. So that's good feedback. Again, this is all reflective. I don't want to just throw words at it and do a podcast for the sake of doing a podcast. If I feel that my words have some sort of point or is worth putting out there, then I want to make sure that the content is quality content, not just content. So excited for my next story to tell. Heading down to Wyoming on Friday. Don't have school on Friday. I'll be down there hunting with my fiance, who I haven't seen since the end of September, which they say that the absence makes the heart grow fonder. Absence just really makes it suck. It's nice that I have a frame of reference. My brother was in the military, and he started dating his who became his wife right before deployment too, and so he was in Iraq for 6 months. And you're like, oh, okay, Jeff, you can handle a month and a half away from your fiance, because there are military personnel who are overseas on deployments, and they don't get to see their family for a while. So I am not at all looking for any sort of sympathy, but man, it does get a little, I don't know, just want to be with my fiance. So it'll be great to go down there, and I'm so excited that we're going to be doing something of that sort of substance and fun. We both like to hunt. She's really excited about it, and I'm excited about it. So chasing a mule deer, that sounds like the most fun thing that we can do. And I'm just stoked. I'm stoked to do a real experience. Her and I are not really the go to a hotel on the beach or just hang out on the beach all day types. She's definitely a go-getter. And so it'll be a lot of fun to go down there and look for a nice mule deer. And I'm been trying to ingest as much information as possible about mule deer. And we did some scouting, set up some cameras, and man, I'm just so excited to hopefully see one at some of the spots that we've looked at, and hopefully get a shot. And can't wait. It's gonna be a lot of fun to see her and have a good experience. So yeah, then I'll tell the story. I'll provide you with content afterwards, and hopefully the content is good content. And then I will hash it out with my buddy Jaden, because it's always good to have people who you can reflect with and give honest feedback with, because otherwise, if you just put yourself in that echo chamber of, oh, it's great, it's wonderful, it's awesome, when it's really not, then it's important to have. So call that episode 165. 165? I don't know, what is this? This is an episode. We'll call that an episode, and talk to you next time.